How's it going, everyone? It's GadgetsBoy. Welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at the Sennheiser Momentum Wireless 4. This is a new pair of headphones from Sennheiser. It has 60 hours of battery life. It has some new gesture controls, and the design has changed as well. But before further ado, let's get into it, see what you get in the box, and my opinion on this. When it comes to the packaging, it's very Sennheiser. It's what we're used to seeing when it comes to Sennheiser Momentum packaging or just any of the headphones in general. But inside the box is where things get interesting, because you do get your carry case, which is nice and premium. It has this nice fabric finishing, which I really like, and it's got the Sennheiser logo just up top there. Unzip the case, then you're greeted with everything else, like your user manual and quick start guide, warranty information, all that stuff. And then you get all your cables that's neatly arranged in places. So when you're not using them, including the adapters, you know exactly where to put them back into, so things are nicely organized. And I love the way the case is protective, which means your pair of headphones will last longer as well. So when it comes to dashing it in your bag, you don't have to do that. Just put it in the case, and the case has also got a nice sort of holder strap on the side, which you can hook onto things to keep them safe so you don't lose it when you're not using them. So in there, you get your audio cable, USB A to C cable, in-flight adapter, and obviously your carry case and your quick start guide and safety guide, etc. But what we're going to be looking at mainly here is the pair of wireless headphones, so the Sennheiser Momentum 4 wireless. And like I said at the start, in terms of the design, things looks different here. So you don't get that metallic material that they use normally on the Momentum wireless series. So I don't know, that's a bit of a bummer for me, because I quite like that old school classic design, but it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with this. It just means it looks a bit more understated compared to before. When you wear the previous version, that design, when you see it on the road, you know that someone's wearing a pair of Sennheiser headphones. But I think with this one, it's a little bit more understated, although you do get that nice metallic logo that's on the side of the headbands. So it's like really just nicely placed there on both sides, which is cool. The headbands you can adjust as well, so you can adjust it up and down to fit your head size. It's on full swivel as well, which is new, so you can fully rotate it, which makes it easier to place around your neck as well and packaging it away. And the headband itself has this fontanelli area, which looks really nice and thought through in terms of it doesn't add extra pressure onto your head when you're wearing it. It just makes it a lot more comfortable, and it's just nice and soft as well. You can just feel it and press it. It feels really nice and soft, and it's stretchy as well. This thing is flexible, as you can see here, and it just fills me with confidence that this is going to be durable. It's not something that you worry about. If there's anything to do with the design, it would be that it picks up loads of fingerprint magnets. If you have sweaty hands, for example, on a hot day, you do end up with loads of fingerprint all around the plastic area on here. And I love the headband as well. The way they adjust is nice and discreet, so you don't see, like, there's nothing visible or obvious there that shows you that this actually goes in and out. And then the ear cups, the 42mm drivers, they look nice and comfortable. The little pushy foam that they've used is really nice, and it's finished in this synthetic leather finishing. And on the inside, we have this fabric finishing in there, which has the L and right label, so you know which side goes to where, because otherwise it looks pretty similar apart from the differentiation in the ports that's available. So on the right ear cup, you get your power button and your pairing button as well. You got some LED indicator lights to show you the battery level as you're charging it, as well as when you're pairing it, it will flash to let you know that it's in pairing mode. You then have a USB-C port, which you can use to charge this back up, and you can also use that port to connect it to your laptop, or if you have an Android phone that you want to connect to wired via USB-C, you can do that. And next to that is a 3.5mm headphone port. So again, use that to connect to audio sources that you don't want to listen to music via Bluetooth. And then next to that is a microphone. So here we have various microphones on there. So you have the outer active noise cancellation microphones that allow the headphones to monitor the sound coming in from outside. Also helps when it comes to the wind noise cancellation as well, which we'll talk about. And then on the inside, we have another set of inner active noise cancellation microphones. And then on the outside, there's other microphone there as well, two other microphones that's used to pick up your voice when you're making phone calls. So all around in terms of design language, I think it's very understated, minimalist, and I like this black edition. There's also a white one, I believe, but I kind of like this one. I love the fabric finishing on top. I don't know how long that's going to last for when you carry this around and use it every day on a daily basis and stuff. I can't tell you that just yet, but I think it looks really nice. It's lightweight. It doesn't look as premium as such. I will say I wish this was you know, back to the old design language, but it is what it is. We're going to get used to this and it's just fine. At the end of the day, the sound is what really matters. More on that ear cup though. On the right side, what you'll also notice is you have swipe gesture control. Now you have different gesture controls in general, like tap and swipe up and down, but you also have this new pinch to zoom. Sorry, I said swipe there. Pinch to zoom gesture, which allows you to pinch and zoom for active noise cancellation, for example. So it's almost like when you pinch in it, you're closing in that noise cancellation. When you open it wide, you get some more transparency. You can hear what's going on around you, which is kind of sweet. So the gestures work really well. They always work. There's no issues there. You also get sound feedback when you tap in, when you swipe in, and so on. When you pinch to zoom, you get sound feedback inside of the headphones, so you know that you're actually doing something and you're not just wondering whether it's working or not. To get your Momentum Wireless 4 working fully, to adjust settings and tweak things, you need to download the Smart Control app. And inside the app itself, you can do various things. This is available on iOS and Android as well, so you can download it on either platforms and change different settings. In the app itself, it will tell you the battery life that's left, and then you can see your connection management. Inside connection management, you see how many devices you have connected. You can connect this, well, pairing is probably a better language to use there. You can pair this with up to 2 devices, which means you don't have to keep pairing it up with a new device if you have 2 phones, for example. So once you've paired it there, you can only listen to one audio source at the same time. So you won't be able to do things like pass audio around or anything like that. One thing I also noticed is when you set this up for the first time on Android, for example, there's no quick pair, Android quick pair mode or anything like that. So, which means you have to do that whole thing where you have to go pair it up manually in the Bluetooth settings and then come back in the app, and then it recognizes it and then adds it to your application. Moving on, we have equalizer. One thing that they've added here is the ability to customize your equalizer presets and settings. So up top, we have equalizer presets. So this gives you things like rock, pop, dance, hip hop, classical music, movie, and you can delete them as well if you're not using any of these, or you're never going to use those presets. You can delete them, and then you have your own presets as well. But what you can do is there's an option called sound check settings. So with a sound check, it run you through a couple of settings, and you play your own song your favorite song, and you tap a few things. And once you've tapped the ones that you think applies to your music taste, the algorithm then creates a sound preset, so you can select that and use that as your preset. Otherwise, you can tweak things and to your heart's content. Underneath that, you have bass boost and podcast switches. With bass boost, it just adds a little bit of oomph when it comes to the bass, but do bear in mind that if you manually adjust your bass already to some higher levels, the bass boost would do a little to affect the sound quality. So it only really works when you don't have a lot of bass already, so then it gives it a boost, which makes sense, right? And then we've got podcast, which allows the voice to sound really nice and clear and sharp, so you don't have to worry about missing out on nitty-gritty detail of your podcast listening session. If we go back to the main menu, we have sound check, which I spoke about already. This is where you can customize it, the presets. And then we have sound zone, which is quite interesting. This is new as well. It just means that when you enter a certain zones that you've designated, so like when I come to the studio, I might want the transparency mode to start coming on. And then when I leave the studio, I might want active noise cancellation to go on straight away. And I might want a certain kind of preset to come in as well. The preset bit I don't really apply, because I don't see the point. I just have a certain preset that I use all the time, especially if you've done the sound check. It means that's your sound preference, right? So I don't use that. But when it comes to the zone, in terms of going to transparency mode and stuff like that, I quite like that. It's pretty cool. It means as I'm approaching my house, for example, I can have to activate transparency, so I can hear what's going on around me. So if someone was to creep up behind me as I'm about to enter the house, I know that I can still hear what's going on around me. We then have adaptive active noise cancellation. So you can have it adaptive, so it would do all the magic by itself, or you can slide it manually yourself from transparency all the way to the end, or full on active noise cancellation, or you can have it balanced right in the middle. But I usually have mine as adaptive, so the software can decide what's best for the listening experience and the environment that I'm in, which is good. You then get side tone, which is good for phone calls. It just means phone call sounds very clear and sharp, and this is what I've experienced as well using the Momentum Wireless 4. It just means they sound crispier and a lot more comfortable. And talking about comfortable, if we go into settings, there are a few things you can do, like firmware updates. You got comfort call. If you slide this on, it just means that when you're making phone calls, sometimes the voice of the person you're speaking to might sound like they're in your head, like you're just visualizing this thing. But if you put comfort call on, it just means the software and the algorithms adjust sound for longer phone calls so that it's a lot more comfortable. So it almost sounds like they're in front of you, they're there in your presence when you're making and receiving phone calls. Now for me, I tested it. I didn't really notice a lot of this in terms of the effect of what it's actually doing, because again, I don't really make a lot of phone calls, but when I do, it's just very quick, short and snappy. So for me, it didn't really matter, but for someone who makes a lot of phone calls all day long, this might be a really good idea for you to switch it on. You then have things like on-head detection. So when it's when you take it off your head, smart pause will kick in, so it'll pause the music that you're listening to. You've got smart pause as well, which means when you put it back on in your head, it'll resume music and pause music. You got auto power off, you can set that up to an hour before it powers off itself, but just leave it as 15 minutes. It just saves that battery life, especially you do get 60 hours of battery life. And to put that into perspective, that is double the amount you get on the latest Sony WH-1000XM5s. So they give you 30 hours. This will give you 60 hours. And that's partly because you don't get that extra amplifier in there. You don't get extra things that battery is powering in the pair of Momentum Wireless 4. So that way they manage to save battery life. You then have your codec, depending on what you're streaming and what your sound source is. But this will support AAC codec, SBC, aptX, and aptX adaptive. And Sennheiser's always used aptX the Bluetooth for a long time, from the get-go, from 2008 when it started out or something like that, when the wireless headphones started. So that's not a problem at all. So that's there. And then you got tiles options, so you can switch on tiles that you might not use, like sound check. Once you've done it once, you probably don't need to see that again, so you can flick that off, so you don't have to see it there. All that said though, in terms of the sound quality and soundstage, I think sonically it sounds really good. And I think what Sennheiser always aim to do is give you a nice, neutral, natural sound when you listen to music. They don't want it to be bass heavy, they don't want it to be treble heavy, but they still want good sound separation. So whether it's instrument playing, when you're listening to Ed Sheeran, you want to hear that guitar strum and the way they're kicking in. If you listen to Billie Eilish, you want to hear that the way the voice just flows from high note to dropping it down and slowly fading in and out of, you know, how she pauses and starts music, that kind of stuff. You want to be able to hear those sounds very clearly and separate them, and this does exactly that. Does a great job. Although if you are into your bassy music and you want to be a kick into it, you can boost it. Bass boost is there, although the bass is still not like massively heavy. I just think it sounds natural. When I'm listening to Coffee's album, for example, the first track on there, on the Gifted album, sounds really good when the bass just like kicks in. It just puts you in that immersive mode and you can sort of enjoy that listening experience. I don't think this is a pair of headphones you'd buy if you're the kind of people who listens to like Beats audio kind of thing, where it's all like R&B music, very centric. I think this is great for wider array of music whilst keeping that sound nice and neutral, and just sounds really natural. Maybe natural is definitely more word to use rather than neutral. Is more natural to the ears. It's the way that you perceive the music, the way it gets reproduced, just sounds really good. So I can't fault it there when it comes to the sound quality. If there's anything that I'm worried about for Sennheiser with this, is the new it's the new design language. I'm not sure if this is for everyone, as in it doesn't look as premium as the previous design language, which I really like, but time will tell. I don't think they really care too tough about that, but if they do, I don't know. But it's up to you. It's all about preference. Sound, it's all about preference, but what you need to take away is you do get a natural sound quality no matter what music genre you like to listen to. Pricing and all that availability information I'll leave in the description area so you guys can check it out. I don't tend to say it in the video because it might change for whatever reason. So I'll leave them in the description area and any links as well. But in the meantime, if this is your first time around here, please do subscribe, smash the bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a new video like this on the channel. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy listening.